Irashaimase. Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this Saturday we have Spark, a combo-based shoot 'em up recently released on Steam. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. Spark is an interesting horizontal combo-based shoot 'em up from developer Nightmare Games. What I mean by that is your shots will combo into each other in interesting and unique ways, and that's the core mechanic of the game. So as we go to the play menu, we see that we've got three modes to explore that in. There's the puzzle mode, where you use your combos to hit targets in ever-increasingly difficult puzzles. Survival, where you're just trying to survive against these procedurally generated waves of enemies. And there are also power-ups in this mode as well. And then Conquest, the main adventure mode, and it's what we'll be looking at today. Jumping into Conquest, we meet our amoeba-like friend here with all these flagella. We have the ability to move, of course, and there's also some precision movement as well. And of course, we have our shots. So there are four types of shots. From weak to strong, we have our blue shot, then our green shot, our yellow shot, and finally our powerful red shot. So the combo-based mechanics in this are the shots of lower levels hitting shots of higher levels. They'll explode in kind of a mathematical formula. If you think of them in numbers, the red shot would be a 4 and the blue shot would be a 1. You hit a red shot with a blue shot and it breaks down into all the yellow shots, the 3s, and so on and so forth. And depending on which shots they are, they'll break in different ways as well. So what we want to do is like shoot shots of differing powers that combo into each other for effect. It's also possible to get some, what the game calls super combos, where if you hit the right button combination in rapid succession, you'll get an extra combo where you have bullets that will be spontaneously generated, adding to the effectiveness of your shots. It's really the core mechanic of how you want to survive through the game, so you want to learn as many of those super combos as you can and use them as often as you can. Though that brings me to our stamina meter, which we have below our life. So at the top of the screen, our life is represented by those blue circles filled in with the green circles. As we take hits, we'll lose those lives. Once we have take 3 hits, that's game over. And below that, we have our stamina meter. So for each shot we fire, we'll use some stamina. If you fire too many shots, like if we rapid fire too many reds, which is actually doesn't take very much, it's only about 5 or 6 depending on how rapidly you're firing them, you'll become exhausted and be unable to fire until the stamina bar resets, which is a few seconds. But those few seconds can be really problematic, as you have to dodge all the enemies and all the enemy shots without any ability to defend yourself during those times. So the base combos that they teach you in the tutorial is this green-blue combo, where you rapid fire green twice and then hit it with blue, you generate extras. And that's basically been what I found for the super combos that I've discovered, is it's usually 2 higher level shots followed by a weaker shot. Depending on which weaker shot you follow it by, you'll get different results. And they can be certainly effective for different scenarios. Like that particular super combo I was using was really good about taking enemies out from behind. Then the standard green, green, blue is really good for taking out enemies in front of you. The comboing mechanic also plays into the scoring mechanic. The only way we can increase our score multiplier is by getting the shot combos. The more shot combos we get, the higher our score multiplier goes, and of course the higher our score will go. And that's basically it. So we've come up to our first boss in Spark. There are 6 levels in the Conquest as well as a final boss. But even past this, the game ramps up quite a bit in difficulty, and I've only been able to ever encounter this boss. I haven't even been able to make it to the second boss yet. So I mentioned in my introduction of the modes that there are... Oops, I exhausted myself. There are power-ups that are present in the survival mode, and only the survival mode. I think that's a real disappointment that those aren't in the other modes of play, or at least the conquest mode, as it adds a really fun element of, well, strategy and fun to the title. Here we have an experience that's really curated and not as random, I guess, but for a game that's built on having a combo system, that randomness is something that would be fun to add in. So that's definitely a problem I do have with this particular mode of play. Alright, we've been able to take out the first boss, and we move into stage 2. And that's basically what we have here in Spark. So real quick, I'll just take a hit for my final life, and we'll return back to the main screen. So I do have had an error, though it's probably my setup, where whenever I go back to the menu, it tells me my controller's disconnected, though it has not. That's weird. And we'll take a look at survival while we talk about the minus and plus flavors of the game. So in survival, we're trying to survive, and we will have power-ups, so you get to see those briefly. So starting off with the minus flavors, well, I'm not a fan of games where we have gigantic hitboxes. And the hitbox of our character is the circle around our little amoeba flagella buddy here. And it's really large. So especially when you're trying to dodge between enemies, I found that it's a problem, and it's too easy to get hit by them. Also, another thing, the backgrounds I just feel are super drab, and it helps see the combos, the bullets easier, but it makes for a really boring screen to look at otherwise. And then I really don't like the fact that we've got power-ups in the survival mode, but in the main mode of the game, we don't have anything like that. So here's the firepower power-up, which just increases our firepower. We've got triple shot, there's ones that slow down time, there's one that gives you a laser weapon. All those kind of things would have been so awesome in Conquest, and they're just not there. Plus flavors, though, I do love the comboing of the bullets. The stamina kills it a little bit, as you can't put out as many reds as you might like to make really fun combos, but what's there is interesting. Oh yeah, sharks with lasers. So the enemies are largely aquatic based, and that is neat. But the combo system, if you get a lot of combos going, it's this beautiful, almost a firework-like presentation, and I love that look. And there we have it. Spark served up for your enjoyment. So it's not a title that I would recommend to most. It just feels like there's certain things that could have been done better with the game itself. But the price point isn't bad, and if you're looking for something a little different, or you want to go and try the mechanics that you see here, then you can definitely pick it up on Steam. I'll include a link in the description below. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, I want to thank you so much for coming out to join me, and I hope to see you again next week.